My name is Beverly Wright, and I am running for the state representative seat in the legislature for this year. And my hope for this particular action is to become a legislator who can vote for the people and with the people. I have found that during this entire process, it is complicated in its way. It can be expensive in its way, and I'm not comfortable with that. One of the first things that struck me about running for office is that there is a voter's manual. Everyone receives it through the mail. It goes into the mailbox, and it tells you who is trying to represent you, who is representing you, and their opinions and the like. The first thing that struck me was this manual, which is sent out to you to give you information about the candidates who are running, is paid for with your taxes. However, a photograph of a candidate costs $750 to place their picture into the voter's manual. A 3-sentence spiel about what they are about, what they hope to achieve, anything that would be helpful for you, the voters, to know about your candidate, that costs $750. At every turn, I have found that running for office had these pitfalls that would corner you away from actually proceeding forward and running. The office only pays $20,000 a year. Okay, that's a minimum wage job at best. That's low enough that you can retain food stamps. You can have Obamacare. You can have housing. You can be impoverished. So if this job isn't going to pay at all well, why would anyone run for it? Why would someone risk their financial security to do a job that pays $20K a year? So I have a suggestion. If you find a name and it has only a name and it does not have a photo of the person who is running, guess what? Their vote's not bought. They are not placed in a position where they owe their vote to who came up with the extra money. They call it the roundup, telling me who's where, who's doing what. Page after page, it states, come and let's go golfing. Well, considering how America feels about Obama running around and golfing, that's not a good idea. Let's go to McMinim's, let's go to a fancy hotel, let's stay the night at a golf course and bring lots of money, and let's have cheese and wine. It's become a frat party, and I feel in many ways I seem to be one of the few people who are serious about going to work, getting the job, and not partying like frat boys. I think there's just far too much nonsense going on in the entire dynamic of running for the legislature. I don't think it should be $100,000 a year to work in the legislature. I don't. I also don't think that it is appropriate for us to expect the people who are running for office to get money last minute. They give you 2 weeks warning. Oh, in 2 weeks you have to give us $750. This voter pamphlet is paid for by the people's taxes. There should be no extra charge. Bottom line, the fact that there's a charge for a photograph, a charge for a little tiny statement, as far as I'm concerned, is completely inappropriate and wrong. It's blocking people. The small salary they pay, that pushes people out. The real people who know that they are in it to make Oregon a better place are not going to have the money or the time to be dealing with this foolishness. When you go through the voter's pamphlet, take a second look at the name without a photo. Take a second look at the person who is running for a seat. Put a stop to this blocking normal people, normal citizens from getting into office. They need to get into office because they live with it. And yet when I went in and I started talking to the various ones, I got one of two opinions. They either loved me to pieces or they nearly hissed in dislike of me. Some of the things that we discussed was care for the elderly, what I would do with the financials. I have a very strong opinion about how we can help Oregon get back on track financially. The people of Oregon have decided that our culture, our society, want very much to have a certain level, meaning we want roads, we want public transportation, we want electricity and water and sewer and garbage, and we want to have those things that make an easy, fun life available. And we're willing to work hard and allow the state to take taxes. We'll even pay federal taxes over there. That's just great. As long as we have a certain lifestyle that we can keep. We can be comfortable. We know that the fires happen, they're going to put them out. If there's an ambulance that needs to go, that's going to happen. If the elderly needs care, that's going to happen. We want parks, we want recreations. There's a lot of things that society wants. And it's kind of where you go when I'm doing my part, I'm working and I'm giving to the community, I'm paying my taxes. Here's the taxes. Make sure life happens really nice. All right, it hasn't been happening right. And every time we come to this point, it goes like this. We pay our taxes. We do our part. We pay our taxes. We expect that the state will make sure that these resources are available. Here's the problem. The state is nothing more than a payee. We hire people and we vote them in and we place them in that office and we say, you are accountable to us for our money. You can call it taxes, but in truth, it is our money. It is the people of Oregon, our taxes, our dollars. And we are sending them to you to pay the bills. These are the bills we want: health care, schools, fire, police, roads, electric, basic care. We expect this so we can have a nice society, a classy way to live, if you would. Now, as a payee, the state's responsibility is to take the grand total of taxes and pay the bills. Basic accounting. And they are accountable to the people of Oregon for every last dollar that goes in. But when was the last time the state of Oregon had a full account? When was the last time here in Oregon that they said, we got $136 trillion out of taxes this year, and what do you want to do with it? Well, it'll cost exactly this much for schools and this much for university and this much. Where's the accounting? When was the last time you were told how much Oregon pulled in on state taxes? What is the grand total? Nobody knows. And they haven't known for a very long time. And it stuns me that no one's ever stopped to ask that question. Where's the money? How much is it? How much did you take from the people? And how is it that you can say, there's no money, we don't have money for you, we can't pay for any of these social structures which we have asked for, we can't pay for those. Oh, but we can build a bridge in Portland for an undisclosed billion dollar amount, and the governor can openly run to industries that are up and down the river and pay them off. And when he pays off this industry, and then he pays off that industry that has to do with shipping, he paid this guy more than that guy. This guy finds out, gets mad at that guy, demands more money. Suddenly everyone up and down the river who are being bought off by the ridiculous bridge reconstruction that they did for the Max Train Group. Max Train is a private entity, just like Chariots. It's not owned by the state. Why are state dollars going into Max Trains to the tune of the millions of billions and buying off other industries? It wasn't cheap. Where's the tally on that? We got a grand total of $208 million for their Abomination Care program. It was this site for the internet that you had to go on in Oregon's site and blah, blah. $208 million. Excuse me? But that program never followed through. We never got our money's worth. So why did we not get our monies back? If I buy a product and I don't receive that product, or that product's faulty, I send it back and I get a refund. It is time for the state to take the money back. It is time for an absolute accountability that happens on state level. And the only way that this is going to happen is by a legislation to undo a very old legislation. The legislature at some point, I cannot find the actual date, but the legislature got with one of our governors and decided that they didn't want to account for the money that comes in on taxes. They don't want to be accountable for it. So they changed the law. Very convenient for the state of Oregon to rip the people off here. And how they changed the law is this. They decided that the general fund is where they're going to put all the money. Do you know why? You see, the general fund, translation, petty cash for any other business. It's the petty cash box. It is the money that you would set in your business if you ran a little restaurant and you needed meter money or you needed pins or papers or anything else, tax. It's that $20 to $100 that your business sets aside, and it's the incidentals. I mean, sure, they hand in receipts, and yes, you give that to accountability, but it's a petty cash box that you don't really have to account for. So the state takes the federal and the state dollars, all the tax money, and they throw it in the petty cash box. Now, being in the petty cash box, they don't have to account for it. They do not have to tell you how much they're taking in. What they're doing is blocking us by not telling us how much money there is and not getting refunds for things that didn't come through. I'm sorry, but I think the $208 million need to come back, because John Kibshopper's idea of finding his budget after blowing billions of dollars, I mean, he's preparing to build another worthless bridge here in Salem and rip out an island in the middle of the Willamette River. Oh, let's alter the ecosystem. And he's paid $1.5 million to the paddle boat down on Front Street. Shame on him. Who does he think he is? Comes to the tune of $72 million is going to be stolen from the most vulnerable, elderly, and disabled for their care. Now, I went down and had a meeting. Being a representative, having that nice little certificate that they send you, which was shown there, I went down to the meeting at the Northwest Senior and Disability Service Office, and they gave me this paper. And on this paper, it actually gives me actual number percentages. I will put it up for you so you can see it. How they allocate their money. It says here, the access to service includes any service, okay? Remember that, any service, which helps persons 60 plus reach services they need, such as transportation, outreach, information, assistance, case management. These services must be provided at a minimum level of 18%. So of the 100%, the actual care of the people is 18. Where's the rest of the fund? How much is it? How much money do they get? Okay? 18. Out of 100, we get 18. Now, they have put in here legal services. I was disabled for quite a few years. I broke my neck. I've lived under the rule of these things. They've never helped with legal services. It goes on. It goes further. They talk about funds here that it says disease prevention, health promotion services. I want you to understand why that is just a load of nonsense. You have a medical card. You see your doctor. Your doctor takes care of you. If you need something such as a wheelchair or a walker or pills, anything you need, your doctor orders it. And if there's service on the insurance decides that they're going to cover that, that's that program. But here, now remember, says right here, 18%. These funds are designed for a variety of services designated to prevent diseases. Thought that was the doctor's job. Promote health and wellness for older persons. Thought that was the office for the doctor. These funds are active, such as medication management. That's your care provider, yourself, your family, and your doctor, and the nurse or the hospital. Medication screening, again, not DHS's job. Education to prevent incorrect medication adverse reactions, again, not DHS's job. No transfer of funds is permitted with this title, medication management. Okay. The absolute care of everyone in Oregon, 18%. To tell you how to take your pills, 25.9 of the annual 3D allocation. 25.9% to tell the elderly how to take their meds. I find that stunning. I find that wrong. They're hiding funds. If 3% of 18 is $72 million, which Governor Kitzhaber is going to take away from these programs, even though we're having a large increase in elderly and disabled people, and they're okay with 25.9%, and they want to fluff it as if it's medication management, that's not right. Well, here's the upshot of this. When I pointed out this problem at the meeting at Senior and Disability Services, there were big people there, people who work above this program, work in the government as it is. And the big guy disappeared out of the room. He was gone. And he was very agitated that I knew these numbers and I called it for wrong. And what did he do? He came back with this wonderful sheet. It's impossible to decipher. It has no actual percentages telling you how the money is spent, where the money is spent, why the money is spent. They're frauding this program. And you see, if I got into office, I would do everything I could to stop it. But I am asking you, the people, to stop and consider something. Our state of Oregon has a governor who's been on a rampage, building bridges, wants to build another bridge, tearing out islands, paying off small businesses, claiming it's for Max Train. Who cares? Max Train is just Portland. It's not the entire state. It does not merit this. And except for blocking that river from ever having real traffic or care, I can't see any reason to shut down that bridge. There's no reason to shut down that bridge. Max Train is an excuse. There's something more going on. There's always something more with these groups. And when I talk to them, they get very nervous, very upset. I don't care if they vote me in or not. It's up to the people to vote me in and vote out what there is. But it's time to take a serious and complete view of what is going on here in Oregon. The state of Oregon is the payee. It is their responsibility to take the taxes, pay the bills. Once the bills are done, then we can start talking about projects and playthings and shutting down bridges. But they go and do this work and they never ask our permission. We didn't vote for this. We didn't say, oh yeah, Mr. Kitzhaber, by all means, go up there and build up on this bridge, but don't ask us about it. And when you're done blowing money, take $72 million from the elderly, the disabled, and the fragile. Shame on you. It's disrespectful. It's wrong. As long as we allow them to continue what they're doing, they're just going to make it worse. I look at the legislation and what they're doing down there. It is all for the businesses. How can this car company put that law in so they can make money this way? How can this union get this? Nothing is doing it with the people. The people are saying, pay the bills. We need schools. We need our schools retrofitted for earthquakes. We need our children to have room when they study. There's a lot going on. And none of it's going to stop. The whole program that they set up, from the voter's manual or voter's pamphlet that they send out, blocking people like me who's not willing to sell our vote, to the meetings that they're having in the If you want to know how to catch them doing their stuff, go down to the barbecue places. There's always backhand shaking going on in there. And the things I'm saying is just the truth. And they're going to have a lot of screaming and tantruming. about what I'm telling you because I am a citizen of Oregon. And it matters to me that we have a future here. And it matters to me that they become fully accountable for the money that they're taking. It's time that we set the limit. No more telling us that there's no money when you won't tell us how much money you've taken. No more doing these building projects that are of ridiculous amounts and then taking money from the disabled. No more paying off businesses that, oh gee, this paddle boat can only go one way down the river instead of the other way down the river. Who cares? That's a private business. Here's a thought. Don't put in another ridiculous bridge which Oregon cannot afford and rip out an island. We don't need it. And more to the point, if you're not going to fully take care of every need of the schools, you got no business paying off $1.5 million to a paddle boat. You have no business. You have no right to do that behind everyone's back. That's not governing. That's playing construction worker. And I know a lot of unions who like playing construction workers, and they're wrong. The state of Oregon belongs to the people. The state does not have carte blanche to do as they please. Oh, they've been allowed to by keeping people stirred up, having the police force go overboard on them. People are getting arrested when they stand up and say, hey, I have freedom of speech. Good and dandy. But the bottom line is you don't have the legal right to do so. And if you have written criminal laws that allow you to not tell the people how much money is coming up with the taxes, then you are the problem. And it's time the people know. And I am very happy to let the people know exactly what I've learned, what they suspect, what they know is right. Because, you know, it's like this. When you're a liar, you confuse people. When you speak the truth, there's clarity. There's clarity. It is time to remove the laws that allow people to blow money at the state capitol without talking to the people about it. You forget, the governor may sit behind a desk, but that's because he's sitting in the chair that's of accountability. You are accountable to us. We pay the taxes, and we've told you your job. You are our payee. There is an accounting which needs to occur, the same accounting that goes for every other business. And don't tell me that they can't, because that's what the IRS is all about, accounting every last dime. We Senate, we expect our community to be paid for in full. Once paid for in full, we can discuss what projects you would like. Because us first, we come first. You're on the end of that thing, not as a king. You're in that chair to follow us. We're standing here and you answer to us. We are the people. We are the tax dollars. We are the ones who need to be cared for. You have no right to extort money from the people and not pay for the schools. $208 million on a website that's never come into being? Get a refund and put it in the schools. $72 million you think you're going to take from senior and disability? No, you're not going to take that money from them. And furthermore, if there's going to be an increase of 13 to 18% more people coming in, you need to adjust for it and you need to pay for it. Full care. Because guess what? They paid. The elderly, they paid their taxes. That's how they became elderly. They paid. Now it's our turn. And for those who want to say that this isn't your problem, one of two things happen. You grow old or you become disabled. And sometimes both. Sooner or later, you will inherit this problem. So it is time to stop the nonsense, pay the bills as requested by the taxpayers, and a full, clear accounting of every dollar that has been taken. So, I'm all right with those people who are going to be very uncomfortable with this video. But when it comes to being voted into office, I take it very seriously. I will not be bought off. I will not pay $750 for a voter's pamphlet for my photograph. I will not put in $750 for 3 sentences, which probably won't be actually read. I am very serious about getting the job done. I'm not going to play politics. I'm going to be very clear about what's right and what is wrong. It's time to stop hurting the people. It's time to prepare our children for a real future. And it's time to have a full accounting of every last dime. There is a full accounting of the people, what they pay. I expect the same out of the state, and anything less is wrong. So yes, I'm running for office. Yes, I am a Republican. No, I don't agree with glad handing and go-alongs to get along. I will not go along to get along. And I don't mind living on $20,000 a year. Other people may, which is why those legislative seats have been empty of good quality people who have the capability and the heart to say, this is not okay. The deck has really been stacked against us. Yes, I am disabled. Yes, I broke my neck. Yes, I've been on disability for 15 years. But I am intelligent, I am strong, my family matters to me, Oregon matters to me. And doing what we need to do to make a better life here in Oregon, the sovereignty that is needed for the state of Oregon is massive. The sovereignty of each individual in person is important. We cannot let government do as it pleases. And instead of just sitting back and being unhappy at home or worry about my grandchildren, I have 7 grandchildren. They have a right to live in Oregon, grow up, and have a future. They have a right to that. They have a right not to fear the police. They have a right to go to a school and not be overcrowded or uneducated. Teachers have a right to resources, and there are ways to get them what they need at a real good competitive rate. There is ways to do that. But I need the people to stand up, whether I get in this office or not. We, the people, need to stand up and say, we have paid for this quality of life. We expect it to come first and foremost before anything else, before anyone else. And if there's something that we don't like, we have a responsibility to stand up and say, you know what, that's not okay. So please, work with me. Help me to do my part. Do your part. And know if this is the seat that I am given, you can believe I will listen to you. And if there's something that you don't understand, you're probably being lied to. Confusion is the mask of a lie. I will speak straight to you, I will speak true to you, and I will not lie to you. There's too much at risk. Our future here in Oregon, our trees that are being decimated, all the things that have been going on. Yeah, it's kind of scary. It's very scary. I want to do my part. I'm asking you, all of you, stand up with me and say, this is our government. This is our money. This is our country. This is our right. We want what's right. So please, I appreciate this time with you, and I hope you understand my intent here. My intent is the future of Oregon. My intent is a future for my grandchildren and my family. I have no agenda. Thank you. Thank you for sharing my concerns and my time, and I hope I can do more. Thanks.